Yo, Tony D, back with Robocop number 5. Got this bad boy on eBay. Pretty good deal. Let's get into it. Joshua Williamson and Carlos Magno. Where we left off. Robocop, he's pretty much on his own. His partner has become detective. The one thing I need to point out is these covers are fantastic. They express what's going on in the book in a way that I haven't seen in quite a while. One of the subscribers pointed out these covers were fantastic, but they really do tell you a story before you get into the story. And just look at it. You have Robocop, you have his partner there. She's above him, she's a detective. There's always this relationship between them. It's emotional, if you know what I'm saying. You have the human parts, obviously, like veins, and there's always this connection. I don't know if I always felt if Robocop could be a human, she would get with him. They would hook up. But shout out to the cover there, man. Good stuff. We're diving deeper into the gritty underbelly of Detroit. Corruption is just festering. You have anarchy on the streets. Our protagonist, Killian, has been orchestrating more of this. And you have these guys with these Robocop visors. Really, it seems it's just a slap in the face to Robocop just to wear his symbol like that. We're getting introduced to more of an escalation of the antagonists and how they're becoming more brazen and just more out of control. It's adding more layers to the tangled web of just the power and the manipulation to get to this point. Joshua Williamson is doing a great job. And then pow, you hit this right here. You got the Ed 209. We would see our guy right there, but the power and the corruption is bad. They have access to this. It's really OCP property weaponry. But the panel is huge. It's at an angle. It's showing you more of that chaos and that just the chaotic feel of just what's happening. Great panel work and angle to emphasize that. And you just have more of that where they're orchestrating, getting into a vault, really just doing what they want. And the paneling becomes even more, when they start shrinking the panel like that, I feel they're creating this claustrophobic type feel where you're in the bank with them and you really have this helpless feel. The lady right there, just they're throwing her in front of Ed 209 and the paneling gets a little bit bigger. Love that artwork, love the detail and the robotics. Carlos Magno, he draws the robotics extremely well. Artwork is just fantastic. And then you get this big panel right here. Bam. There's our hero. He's been stripped of his gun, and they just gave him a baton to do his job. And you get this feeling that even the police force is shrinking as well. You don't see a whole lot of presence as you did in the earlier issues. It's starting to shrink, showing you that it's becoming futile as we go on, giving you a sense that the antagonists are winning out. And really they are. But this also demonstrates the resiliency and the grit that Robocop has. He will not give up even with what's going on. It's his resolve. His resolve is strong. And then he's still in that very robotic mode of stop or I will, and they just take off. And then you jump right into this battle with the Ed 209, and it's really great. They deliver a great comic book battle with Robocop and Ed 209, especially where it's surgical. Now, with his baton, he's starting to think different as he fights. He can't shoot, right? Now he's becoming tactical and precise. He's adapting to his situation. Sometimes I wonder, oh, great shot. See, big panel, boom. He uses that baton to take out the Ed 209. His adaptability is very high. And then he still does the twirl. That's still in his memory. And he gives the whole thank you for your cooperation. It's very interesting. He still has that human side. It's always the cyborg thing, right? Where he's still in there, but he's more robot than anything. But he still has these ticks. And you always get this feeling the emotion is still in there. It's like he's constantly fighting his programming to be more human in whatever situation he's in. And we'll get to some of that. The media isn't even on his side. They're pretty much just needling him. And then bigger panel, pow, he takes care of it. That's not really a Robocop thing. That's a look at the emotion coming out. That's the human part I was just talking about. And then he gets where that man was obstructing justice. It's almost like he's manipulating his programming to get done what he needs to get done. Like in the movie, he did a similar thing. And now look at us going to his partner where Lewis is just, you get this sense of just closed in this office, and the colors are muted where it's just, maybe this wasn't the right choice. It gives off a good feel of that, where it's just it's a place I wouldn't want to have an office. And she's trying to figure stuff out. They're giving her the runaround. And she walks into this, and this is it's another layer. I love how they add another layer of another character who's going to be used in an important role. And this fella here is going to be a undercover cop and infiltrate Killian's, the antagonist group. Now, I immediately became invested in this guy because what he's doing is dangerous. The investment it was there with me. Okay, got another guy I got to watch out for. She's still fighting with her boss, and I love how they still have Robocop. If you notice, the paneling is very consistent. When you turn the page, like on a lot of these, you get this same panel like that. It's set up well. That consistency, I think, has a flow to it where you just get into a flow and you really don't know why you're flowing, but you are. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I get that feel sometimes when I'm reading and looking visually. His partner comes to visit him, and he still has his handlers, and they're talking. Pretty much, she's still being a partner, and she's fighting for him. He doesn't have a gun. You need to take care of him. There's what I was talking about when I was talking about the cover is, I think if he was a human, they would sync up. You know what I'm saying? She cares about him. And I think he cares about her. He just doesn't show it in a human way because he's been stripped of a lot of that. There's some witnesses that they're going to tell. And this is very clever with color, where the tones get darker and grayer, and you're getting these silhouettes like shadowy secrets. I don't know, man. It gives me a feel that actually this isn't a good situation for these witnesses. And it erupts. There's that big panel again, and it doesn't go well. They lose their witnesses. We have Robocop still on the street, and you're getting some tightening up of the paneling. Some of that tightening up makes me feel like he's becoming more precise because he has to be with everything stacked up against him. Now, this gang of brazen Robocop ripoffs. I wonder, they really don't tell you, but I wonder if those masks have any type of abilities, targeting or infrared. They don't go into that, but I'm going to say it does. This is awesome. This is your Frankenstein Ed 209. Excellent use of the big panel. He's angled in a way to emphasize more of that chaotic flavor that he brings to the situation. And look at that, the resolve of our hero just cracking the metal knuckles, and he gives it that you have the right to remain silent. But I don't think I've ever seen the Ed 209. This may be a first. If you're watching, if anyone's watching and they know, let me know. But I think this is the first upgrade type 209 that I've seen. The 2000X. Love it. And then we go from that, which the tension just, it drips. It just stays with you because now you're like in the news, this office room. This is where our antagonist flourishes, though. He is a manipulator at a high level. He is very intelligent. And he's meeting with this old OCP guy. And you notice everything's darker, the tones, where you're in that corporate vibe of just espionage and just everything. You know, OCP is wrong. And you get right here. I love this, where they mirror this relationship. They knew each other a while back, and he had helped him out with selling weapons to other countries back then, and now they're back together, and he's wanting to make Detroit a future war zone. I love these Robocop books. This series is really good. I got 6 on deck. If you're into the brutal honesty and satire of the original film, this series, this is a worthy successor to that. You could go straight from that movie to this. And it's each issue continues to build tension, create that character depth, and just setting the stage for what's going to be a powerful confrontation. And also fans of dystopian justice and just that cybernetic grit. You got to get it.